Hey guys, so after reading our story, The World Needs Who You Were Made to Be by Joanna Gaines, we are going to be creating some hot air balloons inspired by the story. Now, since the story talks so much about being who we are, admiring the different characteristics of people around us and celebrating those, we're gonna create a hot air balloon that can really soar. We're gonna make ours a pop-up hot air balloon. Now, one recommendation before you begin your activity, you'll notice this paper is white construction paper or cardstock. It's a little bit thicker. This is paper from the computer printer. Okay, you'll notice it does not pop up quite as well, but it will work. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you go to fold because it may rip on you. So just a recommendation, if you do in your house have some kind of thicker paper, you'll probably like that better. Now again, it will still work with the regular paper. It will still work just fine. I would just recommend using this. It's a little bit easier to fold and it's less likely to rip. Now, if you are using notebook paper or you don't have any scissors, feel free to draw this. Notice it's made up of a circle. You can make yours more oval shape like in the story, and it has a square. Just admire and look at the different shapes and then you can draw it instead. Okay, so if you're ready to create a pop-up hot air balloon, you're going to need a piece of paper. Again, I recommend the thicker kind. A black marker if you have it. If not, just use a pencil, no problem. You'll need a pair of scissors. Later on, you may want to have a glue stick because we can add little people on here. And then you'll need something to color with. Now, you may notice over here, I have a good variety. For me, I like to use a little bit of all of my art supplies. So I've got some markers. I've got those crayons without the paper on them. I've got my regular crayons. But as you know, always use what you have. If you have crayons, go for it. If you have something different, say you're at home and you have paint, you can paint it. Okay, so what you're gonna do first is you're gonna take your plain paper. Let me slide these over. And this is just my placemat for today. You want to fold it in half. Notice it is tall, it is vertical. You're gonna fold it over, meet the corners up. Okay, so I got 1, 2, and then you want to crease it down really good. Nice and slow with your fingers. Again, I'm using the thicker paper because it creases better and it's less likely to fold. So if you're using regular paper, just be sure you crease it nice and slowly. Okay, now what I want you to do is be sure your paper looks exactly like mine, meaning that your fold is on the right side and your opening is on the left side. Okay. Your fold is on the same side as mine. Okay, because you want to draw it exactly like I am. You want to be sure you're on that fold and the opening should be over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a black marker so that you can see it. But as you know, if you do not have one, just use what you have. Okay, so I'm going to take my black marker. I'm going to come to the top. Notice I am on the fold. And I'm going to go down a little bit. I'm going to make a dot. Okay, again, I'm on the fold. Am I drawing over here? No, that's not going to work. I'm on the fold. Now I'm going to draw a curve for the top of the hot air balloon. You can kind of draw that with your finger. But it's going to be a curved line. Okay, when you feel good, you can go ahead and do that. There we go. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go, that's the middle, let's go a little bit lower right here and let's make a dot. And I'll fold this beside it. You can kind of see what we're doing. Let me unfold it. You can kind of see. So again, we've got our curve line, we've got our dot. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the bottom of the hot air balloon and we're gonna make it go out just a little bit. So it's a short line. It doesn't go all the way out. Okay, now take your 3 fingers, line it up, draw a little dot. This is gonna be the top of our basket. And do it one more time, 3 fingers, a dot in the bottom of the basket. Notice how these lines are about the same length. Okay, so again, we've got our balloon, that gap right there where the strings will go, and then our basket. Okay, now again, before we get ready to cut anything, be sure you have drawn these lines on the fold of your paper, not the opening. And again, you can see it a little bit better here on the fold. Okay, ready? Now you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna come over, I'm gonna pick it up, and I'm just going to cut on that line that I just drew. Okay, let's cut these. Again, I'm only cutting the line that I drew. Again, see how they're on the fold? That's what you want. Okay, so now we're going to start creating the pop-up part. Let's start with the basket right here. So this part is the basket, yes? You see? So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna slowly fold it open like a door and then crease it down. Really good. Strong, crisp creases. Okay, next I'm gonna do this one up here, and you'll see how it kind of opens as well. And again, it's gonna come to a diagonal, so I'm gonna take it. Again, you gotta use both hands and slowly fold it over and crease it down. Okay, now we're going to unfold it. And this time we're going to flip it. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing again. So again, take your basket first, fold it over and crease it really strong. Okay, let's do it again. Remember, it's gonna come to a diagonal line, crease it over, just like that. Okay, then we'll open it up. Okay, now that you've got that, I want you to very carefully and very slowly open up your paper. Okay, now our job is to, again, using both hands and very slowly to pop these guys through. So I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna pop it, I'm kind of folding it over, nice and easy. Okay, let's do the same thing to that one. Then this one go very slow. Fold it over. Very carefully. Just like that. Be sure you're using both hands and going very slow. Again, this is why I would recommend using the thicker paper. If it rips, no problem. We can probably, I'm sure you have a little bit of tape, or we can cover it up with some color. Okay, so I've got my hot air balloon where it pops out. I have my basket, and now I'm ready to add the drawing portion. So I'm gonna take that black marker back out. And again, you can use a pencil, of course, but I'm gonna start, there we go. I am gonna start by drawing a line down that fold. Right down that fold. Okay, and I'm going to begin drawing some curved lines, because right now I have this as just a shape and I want to make it into a form. I want it to look more 3D. So I'm going to go from one end to the other with a curved line. Do one more. Here we go. Okay, this one I'm going to start at the outside. There we go, so I've got the outside. Okay, this time let's do it again. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, as you're working on this, if you would like to do a different design on your hot air balloon, of course you can. I just do it this way because it adds to the 3D part of it. It makes it pop out even more visually. So now I'm gonna go down and let's outline our basket. Just tracing over that. Okay, I'm gonna add the wires with the vertical line. Add one more, because it would have a wire on each corner, right? Now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna add the texture onto the basket. Now, I know I'm going quickly, so anytime you need me to stop, just press the pause button. That's one positive thing about doing these videos online. You can rewind, you can do it over again, or you can pause. Okay, so let's see. I've got my hot air balloon, I've got the basket. Again, I can pop it out. Okay, so now let's work on the background. Now our hot air balloon is flying, and we want it to be very high up in the sky. And you can see in the examples I showed you earlier, I want you to consider what time of day it is. Is it evening, like nighttime with your moon and your stars and your clouds, or is it daytime? I have birds flying, the sun is shining. That is up to you, okay? But either way, you need to start with some ground. So I'm gonna draw a curved line. And don't draw through the middle of your hot air balloon basket, but draw that next line in there. Okay, I'm gonna add a nice big sun. Again, don't draw through the middle of your hot air balloon or your basket. You can add little houses here, because think about it. If your hot air balloon is in the air, it's gonna be very, very high up. So your details on the ground are gonna be a lot smaller. Just something to think about. We gotta consider our space. It's got some trees. I can add some trees over here. Maybe you wanna add a little neighborhood. You can do that. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna come over here and add some clouds. Again, don't draw through the middle of your hot air balloon. I'm gonna have mine kind of going off the paper a little bit. Here we go. Add some birds. There we go. Okay, so again, I've got my ground. Okay guys, so let's get ready to add our friends in the hot air balloons basket. Now keep in mind, it's not very huge. So when you get ready to draw, you want to be sure he fits in there, but you don't want to make it teeny tiny, because if you make it so tiny, it's very hard to cut it out. So what you'll do is take an extra piece of paper, if you have just a scrap piece, start by drawing the person's head. I'm going to draw two. Okay, I'm going to go in and give them little ears, some curly hair. There we go. Give him his little neck and a body, because again, you wouldn't see his legs. Okay, now let's do another one. Okay, we'll do the ears. We'll do little winky eyes this time. Go. Okay, now I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna use my crayons. You could also, or you could always do sunglasses. Here's one I did earlier. I put sunglasses on that one. That works too. It's really up to you. Let's see, I'm gonna do stripes on this one. And I like to color mine before I cut them out. That works a little bit better for me. But you do what you need to do. Notice I kept the details on the face pretty simple. Again, when they get so many details on that little bitty spot, they don't always show up. So again, I kept it a little simple on the face itself. Okay, now I'm gonna take my scissors very carefully and I'm gonna cut them out and set them over to the side because before I glue them into place, I need to color my hot air balloon. Now again, as you get ready to color yours, please don't feel the need to copy me. Do yours in your own way. It's always so interesting and exciting looking through the pictures y'all send in to see all the cool differences. So that's gonna be cool. We're gonna glue her up there and then we'll glue him up there too. Again, I hope y'all love this story as much as I did. I look forward to seeing the pictures from this activity as well. They're just celebrating the different ways we see things, different way we think, different way we handle different situations. But we're all in it together. Now we'll get ready to glue him up there too. See, so again, you could add arms, but they're really not necessary because I'm sure they would say, please keep all hands inside of the basket. Okay, now I'm gonna get ready to start coloring. Again, I'm using a variety of stuff. Use what art materials you have and make you the most happy. Okay guys, so I got it all colored. I've got my two friends ready to go into the hot air balloon. So I'm gonna take my glue stick, or you may have Elmer's glue, that will work too. You also could try taping it on there. I'm sure that will work as well. And I'm gonna put glue on his body. There we go. And then I'm gonna pop it up with one hand and stick it on there. Press it down. Okay, now let's do the other one. Oop, wrong way. Put glue on the color part of the body. There we go. And I'm gonna stick her into the basket. Again, use your fingers to pop it up. There we go. Okay, so now very, very slowly and carefully, I'm gonna fold that over. Fold that over. And I've got my pop-up hot air balloon. Now notice when I glued my people on there, see how that, maybe you'll see it better on this side. See how they're on both sides of the crease? That way they don't get folded in half as well, okay? There we go. So we've got our pop-up hot air balloon to go along with our story today. And just remember, the world needs who you are made to be. Now, be sure before you turn everything off and put all your stuff away that you complete the exit ticket so you can get credit for today. Have a great day, artist.